Bring your hands together at your heart. Take a smooth breath in and a long breath out. Inhale, lift your arms up and forward over the head. And when you start to exhale, reach forward over your legs with your arms stretched out, looking towards the floor. As your arms drop and you rest over your legs, start to inhale your next breath to sweep up, lifting upright. And then again, as you exhale, tip, lean forward, lower your arms. Inhale to lift. Exhale forward. Big breaths, comfortable movements. Don't force yourself either way, either up or down. One more big movement. That looks good. As you exhale, release forward and let your head hang, let your arms hang. Look through your legs to the back of the room or the seat and just let your... Now place your hands again onto your legs. Roll yourself up. Keep your hands at your knees. Keep your hands down at your knees and lift your chest looking forward. Now there's going to be the cat style back bend here. So you're going to lift your chest. You're going to sink into your shoulders, relax your shoulders, or unlock your mouth and your jaw. And then as you exhale, round your shoulders forward, pull your tummy back, round out your spine, feel the shoulders pulling forward towards the ears. Inhale to lift, shoulders down, elbows in, tummy forward, round out the back, exhale. And again, inhale. So you notice this movement is very similar to our cat and cow movement when we're on our hands and knees. Creating space in the shoulders, flexing and extending the spine without any pressure against the knees. One more big movement like this. Inhaling to lift, exhaling to round out the back. So you're really pulling the tummy in and the chest in rather than leaning forward. Good. Inhale, come back to center. Both arms lift up. Point your thumbs behind you. Arms are above your shoulders. And you're going to turn just a little to the left, to your left side. Inhale to center and to the right. Inhale to center. Again to the left. And then back to center. And last one, over, reaching. And then come back to center. Bring your arms down, sweep them up, good, and down. Now we're going to separate the legs, so separate your feet out wide. Make sure that you're still comfortably sitting on the front side of your chair. Your feet are wide apart, and that's comfortable for you. As you start to exhale, holding onto your knees, exhale to lean forward, look down through your legs under the chair, and then use your hands to help lift yourself up. Inhale, nice and tall. So with legs wide apart, try to get some more space in the length of your back. Exhaling to lean forward, hands stay on the legs. Inhale to roll up. Exhale forward. Inhale to lift. Exhale forward. So feel this. Feel this in your legs. Feel the energy of supporting yourself through the floor and feet. And the space that you're creating for your lower back. Letting your head fall so you're not tightening up your neck. You want to keep your neck long. One more big movement. Exhale. As you inhale to lift up, nice and tall. Good. Bring your feet back in. Looks good. Take your right leg forward. Keep your hands on the side of your chair. Depending on the type of chair you're sitting in, hopefully without arms, but if you have some arms, maybe just grab the seat, the front corners of the seat, so you've tucked your hands in. And that'll kind of brace you so you can use more stability through your core, sides, and back. So you're holding onto that chair firmly without lifting your shoulders. You're going to lift your right leg up off the floor. and push the heel forward. Point the toes. Now there's a firming of your thigh and in your hip flexor. Point those toes forward, point them towards you. Point them forward, point them up, point them forward. Good. And once you point your toes forward, lower that foot to the floor. Slide your hands a little bit further back, wherever you can reach, even if it's behind the back side of the chair. And you're going to lean back. You're going to lift your chest. You're going to lean back just a little bit. And you're going to pull your chest up. Keep your left foot flat on the floor as your right leg is straight and toes point down. And then back to center. Walk your left foot off to the side. You're going to stay in line with your straight leg, and you're going to gently lean forward. Now, you know that you're not going to tip off your chair. You're going to lean forward, and you're going to slide your hands down that leg for a little stretch. Keep your left leg out to the side. You don't want to get that involved here. And reach as far forward as you can. Inhale to lift up. Nice and tall. Good. And then again, reach down into the leg. Lean forward over that leg. Inhale, lift up. Nice and tall in your chest and back. And again, forward. As far as you can reach, even if it's to your knee. Inhale to lift up. Good. Hold on to the sides of your seat. Walk your left foot in and bend your right knee. Your left leg goes forward. Now hold on to that front edge of your seat. Lift the left leg. Push through the heel. Anchor through the heel so you feel that energy in your thigh. And really engage the quadricep. Now, you're not going to collapse here because you're holding onto your chair because you want to create space and strength in your back, strength in your thigh. You're going to point your toes forward, point them up, forward and up. If this feels difficult or a challenge muscularly, this is okay. This is an easy movement. You're going to just challenge those muscles that might feel a little tired today or maybe weak from lack of exercise. And then once your toes point, lower your foot. Take your hands back behind you just a little bit more so you can pull your chest bone up and your nose up a little bit. And you're squeezing in your shoulder blades and you're pushing through the left foot. Good. And then when you exhale, come back to center. Walk your right foot off to the side and you're going to direct your hands, your chest, and your nose towards your straight leg. Slide your hands down. Walk them maybe just to the knee. If this is as far as your back and hamstrings will allow you to go, then I want you just to hang there. And if you want to go a little further, reach towards your foot. Know that the chair isn't going to slip away. Your chair is on your yoga mat. And then when you start to inhale, slowly walk your hands back up. Roll yourself up to a seated position and pull in your foot. Good. Bring your feet in. Hold on again onto the sides of your seat, and I just want you to walk your feet up and down. Up and down. Good. Up and down. Now I'm holding onto the edges of the seat so I can pull myself up out of the chair. It feels like I want to lift myself up. There's some strength in your arms and back that brace you here. So feel like you're trying to pull the seat of the chair up into your butt. There's some strength up in here as you notice that. That looks good. Good. And then take your right leg forward, push it forward, pull it back in. That's all you'll do. Push it forward and pull it in. So get this anchoring forward, anchoring in, anchoring forward, anchoring in. One more time. Push. Looks good. And down. Now plant that foot on the floor. Left leg goes out. Hold onto your chair and in. So get this kicking movement in your leg. Whatever feels good. Don't feel you have to achieve what I'm doing or what you think this is supposed to be. It's movement. Moving those hip sockets, leg muscles, stabilizing muscles. And then once it's in, good. Now I want to stretch out the front line of the body. So you're going to bring your feet underneath your chair a little bit, lean forward into the balls of your toes. And then as you lean into your feet, lift your hips off the chair and slowly lift yourself up to standing. And then cross your arms, grab your elbows, lift your arms up over your head and create a little bit of an arch just to lengthen out those front thighs, hip flexors, lower navel. And there's a very slight tension in the glutes. The shoulders are relaxed, the chin is lifted. You're trying to wake up everything that you just moved through and worked. When you start to exhale, lower your arms. Sit back into your chair. Bring your arms forward like this. And then, turn your palms down. Keep your arms a little bit lower than your shoulder height, so not as high. Yeah, that's good. And then you're going to kick your left foot forward. Kick up and down. Right foot up and down. Now I'm going to do this with myself. Turn to one side. Continue. And turn so you can get a better idea. So as you kick, keep yourself from doing this. Now, I don't expect you to straighten your leg, but just lift the foot up and try to kick your hand or out in that direction. Notice that my back, I'm trying to avoid rounding my back to do this. If this is awkward, then just kick your foot forward and down on the ground. Down like that, rather than up. Kicking, kicking, kicking. Your arms straight out from your shoulders, a little bit lower, perhaps. Kicking. Now, if this is getting to be a little tiring and you're not sure and it feels a little intense, then just push the foot forward, like you're kicking your heels to the front of the mat. I'm going to give you the alternative here. Arms stay where they are, and try not to let your shoulders lift. Keep your shoulders low as you move your feet. I'm just doing the alternative position or movement, or you can go up. Getting the heat building in the core. So think of yourself as wearing a corset, a nice tight little band around the front, back, and sides of your torso, lower torso. Good. Now arms come out, palms are up. Kick your feet forward just like this. Or if this is becoming a little challenging, don't worry about the heat. The heat is the best part. If this is challenging, slide the foot forward. I'm just kicking my heel to the floor, out. Flexing the ankle, pushing. You might want to try both. Palms are up, arms are out. One more, two more, and we'll stop. Lower your arms. Bring your feet back a little bit, lean yourself forward, and you might notice your heels just off the floor. You're going to swing your arms back and forth. Really drop the shoulders. My heels are just an inch off the ground, and I'm pressing into the balls of my feet. Imagine you have a very firm ball, like a basketball, maybe a little smaller, between your knees. And that maintains an even alignment of your legs to your hips to your feet. Swinging those arms, blood moving, breath is increased, temperature is increased. Good. And then start to lift up nice and tall, and we drop the arms. Good. Walk your feet forward, heels on the floor. You're still at the front edge of your seat. You're going to sweep, depending on your chair. I'm going to have to bring my hands right to the back side of the chair. So find yourself leaning back a little bit. Now watch me first. As I press the heels of my hands or the hands into the chair, I want you to lift your chest. And then if it feels stable, if you feel strong, try to lift your butt off the chair. Point your toes to the ceiling. Good. Squeeze in your arms, squeeze up your glutes, and down. Pull in your feet. Reset your hips. Hands on the thighs, and your eyes are closed. Eyes are closed. So we built up some warmth. You understand where you're strong, where you might need a little bit more practice in strengthening some muscles. It's all good. It's just always learning that you know you need to do a little bit more of this or a little bit more of that. So we're going to go into a little twist here. Let's start with some more movement. Arms out. Let yourself sit nice and tall. Eyes are open. And you're going to turn to, this is my right. I'm going to call it my left. So turn to your left. Turn to your right. So this movement isn't intended to strain your shoulders or your back or your neck or your balance. If you have to, you can close your eyes. You can slow it down if it feels like it's moving too fast. Good. And then when you turn to the right, stop there, put your left hand on your knee, put your back arm over the chair or through the back hole of the seat in the chair, and gently turn your nose to that right side. Relax your shoulders. Good. When you start to inhale, bring yourself back to center. Arms out like this. Once again, to the left, to the right, back and forth. So this is just to wake up those muscles in your back, lumbar, sides, core. Getting some heat built here. Once you turn to the left, pause. Right hand on your left knee. Opposite arm is either on the back of the chair or scoop it through the hole between the seat, if there's one, and the back of the chair. And then turn just a little bit more, exhale. And then hold the pose with lift, with length, with softness and breath. One thing that you are always committed to is that you're not going to overdo it, and you're not going to overachieve these simple movements, but you're going to learn how you can still breathe with movement, creating flexibility and strength and balance. So that's your goal, whatever, that might change day to day, but notice that you're always achieving some sense of stability, strength, and some flexibility. We'll come back to center. Arms go up, reach for the ceiling. Separate your feet wide apart, and then we're going to tip forward and come all the way down. If you can't touch the floor, put your hands on your knees. Good. And then roll yourself up. As you lift up, your head and arms go up, lifting your nose, and then all the way down. Inhale, lift all the way up. And we'll do that one more time. Exhale all the way down. Good. Inhale all the way up and release your arms. Take your left hand onto your left knee. Right hand comes down to the left foot or past the ankle. We've done this one in our movement class. Grab whatever you can imagine is behind you, like a cord or rope, a spring, and then, or a big long cord. Pull that arm back to the opposite side, opening your chest. Hand comes down and across to the opposite foot, maybe just behind your ankle, and then back and up. Get a nice diagonal movement. We do this one in our yoga movement classes when we're standing, so it gives us a little bit more strength in the balancing department, but here on the chair, you're able to still find that same idea of movement. Last one. Good, and then back to center. Opposite side, hand on knee, arm comes out. This is your opposite side now, so your left hand down to your right knee, and then stretch it slowly back. Feel like you've got this big, strong cable that you're trying to pull back. And with that, creates a little bit of slowness in your movement and an intensity of opening up the chest and the shoulder. When you lean down to reach down, make sure you're kind of turning towards that inside leg a little bit if you're able to. Good, and we'll do two more. Reaching down, inhale. Exhale, push back and up. Inhale down. Exhale back. Good, and then come back to center. Bring your feet in just a little closer. Drop your arms, that looks good. Drop your arms right beside you. Close your eyes. Long breath in. Longer breath out. Good. As you start to exhale, bow your chin towards your chest. Take both hands behind the back of your right leg. Hold on to the back of the leg. Lift your foot off the floor and just swing the foot back and forth. So you're moving at the knee. You've got a good hold of the back of your thigh. Shoulders are low, chest is up. Breathing is through the nose. Good, and then steady up the leg and foot, and then draw the knee to the nose, rounding your back. Pull your belly button in. Inhale nice and tall, lower your leg a little bit. Big breath. Exhale, pull it all in. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Inhale, lift. One more. Good. Exhale. Good. Bring that foot to the floor. Reach for the opposite leg. Hands behind the leg and just lift it off the foot, off the floor, and just swing the foot. Feel that movement in the knee, keeping your back tall and lifted. Just to notice the knees. The knee takes a lot of weight and a lot of demand. This way you find some movement without all that extra body weight into it. Good. And then settle the foot. When you exhale, lift your knee to your nose, round out your back as you pull down your tummy. Left foot up. Inhale, lift. Exhale, reach. Inhale, lift. Exhale, reach. One more. Nice and tall, and reach. Good. Take the foot to the floor. Drop your arms, shake out your fingers, your wrists. Good. Sitting nice and tall at the front side of your seat. And we're going to relax your arms, drop your chin. And then drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Drop your chin to your chest. Left ear to the left shoulder. Feeling that right side long. Chin to your chest. Good. Other side. To the right. Chin to chest. To the left. So try not to round out your upper back. Bring your head back to center, chin to your chest. Take your arms back behind you. Now if your chair is available, if your chair has some kind of support or structure that you can hang on to, that's okay. Or the sides of the seat towards the back so it feels like you're pulling your chest open. And there's a slight lean forward now. Now you're not rounding your back. You're just leaning forward, supporting the lean of the body with the hands on the seat or the back of the chair. So I want you to squeeze gently in your shoulder blades. So feel like your shoulder blades are retracting in towards the spine. And there's a nice sense of space across the chest, collarbones, and the front of the shoulders. Now notice that you haven't let your head fall down to your chest. Keep your head lifted so that the spine and the neck and the head are all one even straight line. Good. Now, we're going to come back to center. Inhale, lift up your arms, lift towards the ceiling. Good, good, good. Into the heart. Good. Now, this next position, we're going to sit. I'm going to do it facing you first. You're going to sit. You're going to move yourself to, now I'm going to be talking left and right, and that's exactly what I want you to do. I'm not going to complicate this with trying to mirror you. I'm bringing my left hip to the side of the chair. So whatever type of chair you have, make sure you can just let your right leg hang off. So I'm going to take my right leg and I'm going to scoop the knee down to the floor, curl the tops of the foot to the floor, the top of the foot to the floor, and I'm letting, this is my right thigh reaching all the way down. Hang on to the side of the seat with your left hand and try to drop that knee down into the floor, and you're resting still on the chair. I'm still stable. I'm still sitting, just that my right leg is now getting a little stretch. Incorporate this into the arm. Let me just take a moment to see that you're all okay. Thumbs up. Good, okay, good. Nice, nice, nice. I can see you all from a distance. You're all little tiny thumbnails. Take your knee and just give a nice stretch into this thigh as you drag it. Try your best to uncurl the toes behind you so you can give a little stretch into the top of that foot. So we're going to wake up this whole right side from the thigh, hip flexor, lower abdominal, side ribs, shoulder, and arm. Right arm up. Now you can look straight ahead at the wall in front of you, or you can lift your chin like I'm going to do, and I'm going to encourage the chest to lift up a little higher, and maybe, just maybe, your arm, your lifted right arm can go past your ear just to wake up the armpit a little bit more. If that's all very awkward, you can stay nice and straight up and settled and centered, and maybe not even do anything with your right arm. You can let it just drag and just feel it all through here. Whatever feels good. So you're going to start, and if it feels good, take the arm up. Try your best to slip your right foot even further back behind you, just to give some more space. Now you're still heavy on that chair. Your left foot is still planted into the floor. And you take one more breath. Breathing in, lifting up, lifting the chest, rising up, and then exhale, sink into the stretch. If you have your arm up and you're looking up, bring yourself back to center, arm down. Now take that right arm out to the side like this. Bend your elbow, put your fingers on your shoulder, and make a big circle with your elbow. Perfect. A big circle. Sit nice and tall on your seat. You're still letting your left leg hang back behind you. Change the circle, go the other way. Feel it all through the top of the shoulder. You know, this is really when we have these movements in our shoulders daily, every day, sometimes 3-4 times a day. You need to find this, getting the connective tissue strong, but relaxed and soft. You need to have those connective tissues in your shoulder able to manage getting older. So we need to find this movement in the joints. This is a good one. Affects the chest and the back as well. And then once you come back to center, sweep that arm out and down. Go into a little twist. Take your right hand to your left knee, cross it over, and then look over your left shoulder. Use your left hand on the chair, anywhere that you can grab it, to help support yourself as you find a little bit more of a reach through your right hip, lower thigh into the side body. And then when you start to exhale, come back to center, drag your right foot in. You're going to scoot yourself back into the middle of your chair. Good. Now we work the other side. Scoot yourself over to the left side of your chair with just your right leg on the seat. Right foot flat. Make sure your knee is over your ankle. Hold on to it with your right hand and then drag down your left knee. I'm dropping it down. I'm scooping the foot back. If this is what you have to do to get there, that's okay. Whatever it takes to get that foot uncurled and behind you. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. I'm sure you understand this, but I just want to give you a different point of view here. So I'm trying to wake up all this. So you're not pushing your hip forward. You're lifting the arm, if it feels okay to wake up this whole hip flexor. This is the part we have to stretch out. Without this being, if this is too tight, then the rest of the pelvis feels locked up. If you're going further, left arm goes up, and you can either look straight ahead and just focus on that left knee dropping, and I'm still wiggling my left foot back a little bit more. I can wiggle the top of the foot even another inch, and that feels nice. It feels great, all from the hip flexor to the thigh to the lower abdominals into the armpit. If it feels good too, feel very connected to your chair, you can lift the chest, look up a little bit, and gently let the arm move in line with your ear. If it becomes too intense, then you want to back off what you've done, come back to more of a neutral position, or lower your arm as well. Breathing through the nose. The focus here is really getting into that little stretch across the left hip crease and hip flexors. One more breath. I know you can do it. Good. And then back to center. Stay where you are. Lower your arm out to your side. And then bend at the elbow, fingertips on shoulder, whatever you can manage. And a big sweeping circle. Good. Getting into whatever area your shoulder, the top of your shoulder, your upper back, your chest wants to give you. No, think that your shoulder is just about that joint. Oops, the ear thing fell out. Got to put that thing back in my ear. It's all about the chest, the upper back, the armpit muscles, the tricep. And then we'll come back to center, release your arm, and then slide that foot back in. Wiggle yourself to the center of your mat, or center of your chair rather. And I think what we'll do now is we'll come up into a standing position. So to come out of your chair, hold on to the edge. You can do one of two things. I've learned people need a different version. You can either lean into your toes with your feet wider apart. The wider, the better. So wherever you feel the most balanced, reach your arms forward. Know that you're not going to lean away from anything other than your chair. And you're going to stand up nice and tall. The arms go up. You cross your forearms, grab each elbow, and arch the back a little bit. And as you exhale, come back to center. Release your arms. Now, can I ask you to move your chair to one end of your mat so you can still see me, and that you have this long spot where your mat is, and that you can hold on to the chair like this. Okay? From this position, make sure that as you begin to walk back, this is like a downward dog. You're going to walk your feet back. This is great because you're going to get to do a downward dog without getting on the floor and getting complicated with your hands. Make sure your feet are hip width apart. And I always say hip width apart is about the width of 2 fists, or maybe a fist and a half distance between your inner toes or inner ankles, inner feet rather. And then start to lean forward just a little bit. Good, keep your arms straight. Feels like a plank, a little stretch for the back of the legs. And then you lean back. Exhale. So I want you to really use the breath here. Inhale, lean forward. Exhale, lean back. Inhale, lean forward. Good. Without collapsing your chest or bending your elbows, and then downward dog, leaning back. Take your hands anywhere on the chair where it feels comfortable and you don't feel awkward in the wrist or tight in the fingers. Back and forward a couple more times. Make sure you're exhaling as you lean back. That's important because you want that exhale to target into your lower back and your hamstrings. Good, one more. Now once you lean forward, shoulders over the hands, step your left foot forward, almost underneath the chair itself, and then wiggle or move your right foot back. I just lift and drop it, and then sink down so you get a little bit of a stretch into the thigh. Lifting your chest, looking past the back of your chair, drop your shoulders and sink through your right heel. Take a long breath here, press through the heel. Now we're going to keep the back right leg nice and long as we move our hips towards the back of the room, and you straighten your left knee just a little bit. Now don't lock the left knee, just look down to see that it's starting to straighten. Your feet are like on train tracks, railway tracks. They're even and parallel. And then lean that front knee forward, look past the back of your chair, lift your chest, and then exhale back. We'll do that one more time. Good. Forward. Good. And then back to center. And then I need you to move yourself forward, and you're going to step your right foot forward. You're coming close to your chair, and you're stepping your left foot back. Good. Now make sure that you can't see your toes. You can probably tuck the toes underneath the seat a little bit. That keeps your knee over your ankle. This is very, 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 very important that you try to keep your knee over the joint of your ankle. That creates the most weight-bearing position for bones in your leg. Back toes are still curled. Look up, or rather forward, look forward. You can feel the left thigh, left hip, left leg, left lower tummy. Breathe in, breathe out, hold it here. When you begin to exhale, lean back just a little bit, look down, and let your right knee straighten a tiny bit, just to figure it out, just to explore. And then inhale, come back to what feels comfortable and neutral. And then as you exhale, lean back to explore the legs. Breathe out, breathe out. Inhale, lean forward. Again. Good. Once you lean forward, step your left foot forward. Separate your feet as wide as your yoga mat. Drop your forearms onto your chair. Interlace your fingers, or make a fist with one hand and cup it with the other hand, whichever feels comfortable. I like to interlace my fingers. And have your feet as wide as your mat, perhaps even wider if that feels good. And you're going to lean from one leg to the other. Now notice that you're resting on your chair, but I don't want you to rest into your chair for weight. I want you just to notice that you're stabilizing your balance as you move from one leg to the other. I want to also mention that you want to turn your toes out and lean from one heel to the other. You may want to lift each foot just slightly. Pardon me, the toes. I'm lifting the toes and resting into the heel. Other side, lifting the toes, resting into the heel. Good. Now notice also that your upper body hasn't become tight or stiff. Keep long in your back, long through your neck, resting comfortably through your arms. Good, just one more movement to each side, rolling onto each heel if it's available to do so. Good, and then back to center. Turn your toes in, heels in, toes in, until your feet are hip-width apart. Good, now put your hands on the seat, the corners of the chair. Have your feet what looks like parallel with the walls, or pardon me, vertical legs. We're going to take one leg off the floor or up and the opposite hand off the chair. So watch first. We'll start with the left leg, lifting your left leg back. Doesn't have to be up higher than your hip, and take your right hand off the chair. So think of that pose that we do called sunbird on our hands and knees, lifting opposite limbs. If this is feeling good for you, you can take your right arm and lift it up in line with your ear. So your arm is up beside your head. Keep your left leg at sort of an angle of your body. You don't have to lift it high to overwork the glutes. And exhale down. Switch hands, switch leg. Right leg back. Remember, this has to be off the floor, so it's straight from your hip down, and then your left arm goes off the chair, hand off the chair. And if it feels good to, lift that arm up. Don't struggle with your back or your shoulder if your arm is lifted. You can lower it down. You can rest your hand on the back of the chair. Good, and then exhale, everything drops. Foot, hand, there. Now lean into your heels, bend your knees a little bit, and hold on to your chair, and sit down if you can. Just get a little bit of a drop, like you're going to sit into another chair, just like the one you're holding on to behind you. Same chair is now behind you. Just think about that. And then with a big breath in, lift your arms, reach up, stand up nice and tall, reach for the ceiling, arch the back if it feels good to, and hands to the heart. Good. Drop your arms, shake out your arms, your shoulders, your hands, your fingers. And we're going to come into another pose using the back of the chair. So take your chair, put it in any position so you can still stay on your mat, and you can also see me. I'm going to have it facing you guys so that you can see what I'm doing. If you're on a flooring, if your floor or your carpet is in a style that's not going to have your feet slip, you can probably not even use your mat, but make sure that your feet don't slip whatever surface you're on. That's the most important thing. Otherwise, we could do this without a yoga mat. Good. And you're going to separate your legs wide apart. You're going to hold on to the back of your chair or the sides of your chair like this. This is one of those Costco, sitting chairs that you find for boardrooms or whatever, picnics. And then turn your toes out. You're going to slowly bend your knees. Your feet are turned out, your toes are turned in, your hands are supporting you, and you're just going to drop down a tiny little bit. Your thighs don't have to come in line with your knees. And then standing tall, squeezing. Now, the reason I want you to use the chair here is because I'm going to ask you eventually to lift your heels. Let's do this first. Inhale down. Nice and tall in your back. I'm going to take my hands off so you can see what I want you to do. You're going to sit down nice and tall. Your body is nice and tall, like you're standing up against a wall, and you're straightening your legs. Inhale down. Good. Squeeze the glutes to lift. And again, looks good. Nice and tall. Keep your chin level with the floor. Perfect. And then once you straighten up, hold on to that chair nice and comfortably, and then engage your inner legs as you lift your heels off the floor. Up and down. Up and down. It's to strengthen the toes, the feet, the ankles. Once again, squeeze to lift from the core, you're lifting up and down. We'll do that one more time. Good. Turn your toes in. So turn your toes right in, pivot on your heels and turn your toes right into the center of your mat or where you're standing. And then lift your heels up, pull your toes in, pull your heels in, pull your toes in until you're standing here. Let's take the chair. Let's just move yourself to one side of it so you're standing beside the chair. And if you can just pull it closer to the side of your body. This is my left side. It can be whatever side you want. And then you bring your same leg close to the chair, bring it onto the seat. Hold on to that chair. And now you're standing with one foot up. Good. And I just want you to massage the hip like this. So wherever your foot is, just make sure that you're comfortable in this position. There you go. Good. And your hand can still hold on to the chair. You can even be close to another chair. You guys, if you ever feel that this is a lot of moving around, grab another chair just like the one you're using for some support out this way. Okay, so we're massaging the hip. You're circling your knee around your ankle. I'm getting a bit of a movement in my hip. My loose arm is just hanging here or on your hip. So think of a hula hoop, but you're including your knee and your ankle. I want you to look past me. Don't look at me. Look somewhere in your room, your house, out the window, and just enjoy the movement that you can find. Look beyond me and look further away. Just to take your perspective out of being locked into a chair pose or movement. And if it feels good to, switch direction. Go the other way. Good. Loosening up the hips. That looks good. Good. And then back to center. Hold on to the back of the chair or wherever you're holding on to, and then just let your leg drop. Now, holding onto the chair, you're going to swing your leg back and forth. Yeah, just like that. Now, my sofa is right behind me, so unfortunately, I got to kick it. And then when you swing that leg forward, pull the knee up and then slowly down. Good. Now, just rearrange yourself so you can stand on the other side. Good. We'll do the other leg now. The foot, wherever it wants to rest, make sure you got a good hold. Looks good. And you're feeling stable in your standing leg. This arm just hangs. And start to massage the hip by rolling the knee around. You might want to reset your foot. I think I have to actually just to get that feels better. Just a nice easy movement. I'm including the pelvis here because sometimes if we're locked up in the hips, the leg moves and the hip follows instead of keeping it an isolated movement. This will give you some idea about your pelvis. That looks nice, everybody. Good. Breathing through the nose. Good stuff. I'm very excited to teach this particular class because all of you folks that are in this room with me you inspire me. So I know what I'm giving you is some instruction on how to move, but I wouldn't be doing this for you today if you weren't in my life inspiring me. So thank you. You'll come back to center. Works both ways. We'll drop that leg, swing it back and forth. Good. And then I'm going to turn myself sideways. So you can stay where you are, just stand behind your chair like this. I'm going to turn mine this way so you get a different perspective of how I want you to move. Hold on to the back of your chair and stand nice and tall. And what you'll do is, it's kind of hard to explain because I'm not with you, but push your shoulders down as you push your hands into the chair, but still maintain a nice, strong, tall position in your body. So I'm trying to shove that chair into the basement. push, and then relax. Exhale, push. So you feel it in your arms, pull the elbows in and relax. 2 more times. Push the shoulders down, fingers down into the chair, chair into the basement, elbows in and relax. Again. There you are. Now hang on to that chair still. Have your feet hip width apart. Look down to see that your big toes are lined up. The edges of your feet are parallel, looking forward towards whatever direction you're facing, and lift your heels off the floor. Lift up nice and high, and then down. Lift up high. So as you do this, as you lift and lower your heels, pretty simple, but a chair makes it easy. When you lift up, make sure that your tummy pulls down a little bit or in. I don't want you to do this with what this looks like, so try to avoid that. This is what I want you to avoid. Lifting and dropping. Lift up nice and tall, and that sets your pelvis back or even, and it allows you to lift and lower with more strength coming from your butt. We'll do that 2 more times. Good, and then just step back a little bit further, maybe about 6 inches or less, so you're further away from the chair. Holding onto your chair, you're going to sit down, like you're going to sit into another chair, just like the one you're holding onto behind you, and then stand up tall. Push through your feet, don't lift your heels. Inhale, exhale. Strong legs. Inhale, gives a stretch into the thigh, gently firms the thigh. Folding at the hips, extension of the hips. Your feet are plugged into the floor and you're using every muscle in your legs, either stretching or strengthening at the same time. Pardon me, opposite time. One more. Good. And then from here, take your chair to the end of your yoga mat, and maybe you need to adjust your device so you can still see me, because I want you to get closer to the floor. So I'm just going to give you a second to do that. Get your chair about 7-8 inches from the end of your yoga mat, so your chair is on it but not fully over it. Once you're there, we're going to come down onto the floor by lowering onto the knees. And then keep your left hand on the chair, take your right arm up, and you're going to turn your chest to the right as your arm comes down behind you, and you're going to sweep it forward. Inhale up. Exhale down. Good. Inhale up. Exhale back and down. One more, and then we'll switch sides. Breath in and out. Good. Hand to the chair. Opposite arm goes out and forward and up. Turn to that side. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. So there's a very gentle twist to the side that you're turning your arm to. The breath encourages the lift and the rise. The exhale encourages the release, the twist, and the downward movement of your arm. One more. Good. Now from here, we're going to come down onto our back. I'm going to give you a moment to find yourself. Move yourself down onto the floor. You're going to use your chair for your legs. So get yourself down onto the floor. Before you get down, make sure you have a pillow or a blanket or something that can cradle your head a little bit so you don't feel struggled. So anything from the couch. Your legs go up over the chair. Now, you'll see my legs are straight. The back of my calves are on the edge of the seat. Whatever feels good for your legs here. Ideally, heels on the chair. You can always move yourself away or closer, but whichever position you take here, I want to make sure that you don't have your knees directly above your hips. So if your hips are too close to your chair, you'll have a right angle at the knees. So I'd rather you move your body back a little bit so your legs are slightly on the straighter side. And then drop out your arms. Good. Now, you're going to pull your right foot to the front edge of the seat. Drop your knee out to the side, and then point your knee in or pull it back into center. Again, point your knee out to the side, and then bring it back into center. Again, a couple times, finding this smooth movement in your hip. So this is kind of taking tree pose to a whole nother level. We're finding that same position of the leg, but we have to be on our back, so we have no balance to worry about. But we're finding the strength that creates that tree pose when we're on one leg. Good. Once you draw your leg to center, slide the leg back over the chair. We'll pull in the other foot. This is your left. Knee to the side, turn it out, turn it in. Allow every breath now to really be dedicated to relaxing you, de-stressing you, softening your bones, your muscles, your ligaments, your organs, softening your breath, softening every physical thing about you. Once you draw your leg to center, drag the leg over the seat. Now both legs are over your chair. Now please make sure that your legs are comfortable where they are. If you have to move yourself around, get yourself comfortable. One thing to do is, if you have a couple couch pillows, maybe not today, you can always put those on your chair just for some extra support underneath your heels. But for today, we'll just rest here. Feel the weight of your body as you exhale. Allow everything to be long, soft, and quiet. Let's just make sure that the arms are away from your body, away from your mat, out to the sides, and that your palms are turned up. Letting your fingers curl naturally and allowing the chest to take a couple breaths. So as you inhale, feel the rise of the chest, the widening of the rib cage just a little bit. And then when you exhale, sink into the back, upper back, shoulders, arms, and belly. Your focus on every breath. Your focus is on widening the chest, expanding the rib cage, and then settling. So now I want you just to find yourself coming back into the position, noticing where you are. And as you exhale, drag your arms in, drag your hands into your mat, closer to your body, and bring your right foot to the floor, keeping your left leg up over the seat. And then push down into your hands, your shoulders, and your head, and your right foot as you lift your hips off the floor. It's going to look like a one-legged bridge. So rising up from the floor, feeling a little yawn in the hips, and then exhale down. Let's try that just one more time, just a little refresher for the hips. Inhale, lift. Press into your foot on the floor, and gently down. Switch. Take the leg up over the chair. Other foot comes down. Twice, 2 times only. Inhale up. And down. All the way up. Bring that foot to the floor. Now, to move yourself over onto one side, be very careful. I don't want to, because I can't see you clearly and know what you're all doing. Just wiggle your hips over to the left edge of your mat. And then, like you're rolling off of a little cot, a little tiny narrow cot, roll to your right, knees to the right, left hand to the floor. And then with your left hand on the floor, exhale to lift yourself up. Bring yourself away from the floor. Find yourself on your knees. Reposition your chair so you can still see me. Use your chair to bring yourself up and into your seat. All right, looks good. Good. Drop your arms beside you. Sit at the middle of your seat, not the front edge of your seat. You can sit a little bit further back so you can feel the comfort of the back of the chair. Feet flat on the floor. Again, your feet below your knees, ankles below your knees rather, and your thighs are parallel. Palms are down, shoulders are down, and I want you to really appreciate that you've got this physical support for your body. Sit into the chair. Use that chair the way it's built to hold you. Lean into it, sit down into it, feel it. Your hands are on your thighs. Your fingers are turned inward just a little bit, so your elbows kind of poke out a little bit, but without lifting your shoulders. Take 3 deep breaths. Inhale, belly rises, chest rises. Hold for a second. Exhale from the chest. Exhale from the belly. Same way, twice, 2 more times. Make sure you hold it for a second or 2, and then let it out. Bring your hands together at the heart. With your eyes closed, take your eyes, keeping your head centered. Your chin can drop a little bit. Keep your hands at your heart and let your eyes stay closed, but direct your focus with eyes closed towards your fingers, so you're looking closer towards the floor. I want you, if you were able to see the moon last night, the big, huge, called a pink moon, it was big. Imagine what that, in your mind, visualize that moon again, or visualize a big, bright, pink moon. The energy of the moon and the sun and this planet we live in on supporting you. May the long-time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. The pure light within you guide your way on. Namaste.